For more on this now, Michigan Congressman Mike Rogers, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, my guest out of Washington. Sir, good morning to you and welcome back here to
Bill.
America's Newsroom. What do they know that we don't know, or maybe that we need to know?
Well, this really a dangerous change and trend started in Australia several weeks ago, Bill. What we saw was there were 14 individuals who were committed, raised their own money, were ready to go to Syria to fight and further their radicalization. And they got something interesting. They got a note back from the leaders of ISIL that said, no, what we want you to do, stay in Australia. We want you to randomly kidnap people off the street, behead them, videotape it, send it to us for further propaganda. And what we saw was this trend starting everywhere else. So if you think about all of the incidents we've seen, Australia, Canada, United States, those arrests here, Great Britain, France, Germany, Spain, the attack in Brussels, what you know now is that these folks are sending out that message that spontaneous terrorism is the word of the day. And that's what's so concerning to individuals, that they're radicalizing these folks to attack government
That
officials.
is a call for lone wolves, as you know, very well. But what changes with the increased security? Will people know it? Will it make a difference?
Well, it can make a difference. You know, again, the hardest thing is for these static security guards to keep their level of interest and attention as high as you can get it. This will help that. I think you'll see more exercises. You'll see more presence in a place that can respond quicker to one of these type of events. What you don't want to happen is get overrun by one of these or several of these individuals without the response time being appropriate to stop it as soon as it starts, or as soon thereafter as it starts. And so that's what you're seeing, is that rearrangement of that security posture to try to meet that threat.
You mentioned Australia and Canada as well. If you did not have those two incidents in Canada last week, would we have done this? Would the federal government have made this move?
Well, you know, it's hard to say. I think they should have, just because we've seen these trends start. And I have to tell you, ISIL has one of the most fantastic propaganda machines I have ever seen. They are very good at it. So they do it on two levels. They do it in Arabic. They do it in English. So they're not only communicating for the terror side of it, meaning we'll show you how bad we are and how you should stay away from us, number one. And number two, they're using all of it for recruiting and to try to radicalize people in their home countries. They do want, and they've expressed this openly, a high-profile event in place in Western countries like the United States. And that's why I think the heightened terrorist level is up, because we're seeing that they're reaching these individuals in a way we haven't seen before. And of course, the efforts in Syria and Iraq to try to have that strategic defeat decision or disruption isn't working. That's a dangerous combination for us.
You make some very interesting points there, too, and relevant. About 10 days ago, the head of the FBI, James Comey, made a speech in Washington. His basic point was this: the laws do not allow law enforcement to stay up with those folks who perhaps are spreading this message online that you describe. Maybe they're on Wi-Fi, maybe they switch to satellite, maybe they're jumping around to different apps or different social media websites, and you cannot keep pace with them. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with it. So we've got two problems. One is their social media, their propaganda campaign, their recruiting campaign that, again, is very sophisticated. This is not monkey bar terrorists out in the desert somewhere. This is a very sophisticated propaganda and recruiting social media tool that they're using, number one. And number two, we can't keep up with the sheer number that are coming back. Great Britain is just about going to go over their ability for them to apply resources to people who have fought, been radicalized, and come home to Great Britain. And remember, they're just one plane ticket away from the United States. They're a visa waiver country. They don't need a visa to come to the United States. So we're getting to the point where this is starting to stretch our resources in a way that's very, very concerning. The policies on how we go after these propaganda tools is also not lining up with what the real threat is. All of that needs to be addressed, and I would argue very, very soon we need some leadership out of this White House. The way we're going about it in Iraq and Syria is not going to help. It's not shutting off the pipeline of people coming from the United States and other Western countries. That's a huge problem for us.